Hello, I'm Sam from Cultaholic.com, and this is Graded for NXT and 205 Live, where I take a look at each show segment by segment and award each little bit a grade from A+ to F. 205 Live is just another episode of 205 Live this week, but NXT, this is the first episode, the first real episode since TakeOver 25. So without any further ado, let's get on with it. Hit the intro. So we kick things off as we always do with 205 Live, and the opening match is the one we've all been looking forward to. It's the Lucha House Party versus the Singh brothers. Lucha House Party tonight are represented by Lince Dorado and Gran Metalik, but Kalisto is there at ringside in his big gold shoulder pads, looking like the Green Power Ranger. Lucha House Party make pretty easy work of the Singhs early on in this one, with the Singhs struggling to get any footing. They do, however, manage to find an opportunity by distracting Lince, dragging him off the turnbuckle, and it gives them a little bit of traction. They drag him to the corner and start stomping a mud hole in him. Lince does eventually manage to get free. He goes to tag in Metalik, and we get a really nice moment where Samir pulls away Metalik's legs just as he's about to tag him, so he just sort of falls through the air. I think we've seen it in one of their matches before, but it's always really nicely timed. The Singhs even manage to almost pick up the pin here until Lince hits the golden rewind and things start going a little bit downhill for them. Metalik then gets in, cleans house, hits a mahoosive dive to the outside, and then back in the ring Lince hits a shooting star press, but the pin gets broken up. And then we get to the end of the match. Sunil, in desperation, reaches for Penelope the Pinata to use her as a weapon, but Kalisto grabs hold of her, and then she gets ripped in half. She gets mutilated in front of a live arena crowd. He and Kalisto then argue back and forth, and this causes enough of a distraction for Lince to get rolled up, and the Singh brothers pick up that all-important win. I'm going to give this one a C. It didn't quite feel like it got off to the races. It felt a little bit paint by numbers, but as I said, at least it was an important win storyline-wise, I guess, for the Singhs. And I suppose at least it'll give this feud that little bit of fire that it desperately needs, because oh my god, why is this feud still going on? We then cut backstage and we see Noam Dar, who's sat in a backstage arena medical room 110%, but he claims to be in Magaluf. He says that he'll be good to wrestle soon, so long as Drake Maverick gets his head in the game, stops getting too distracted by all of this 24/7 title nonsense, and actually creates a safer work environment for 205 Live. And just as he's wrapping up this little piece to camera sipping from a cocktail, Brian Kendrick walks in looking for his ring jacket, and it's just beautifully awkward, and it proves obviously that he's not in Magaluf. Oh, he's actually in the arena, he's just all talk. It was just crap, but brilliant. It was really, really funny. We then go back to the ring for Brian Kendrick versus Russ Taylor, the local competitor. I'm just going to read from my notes for this one because it was so quick. I just wrote, quick and painless, Kendrick offers his hand, Taylor refuses, Kendrick gets hot, eats a punch, and then makes quick work of him. Sliced bread, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to give this one a C-. It was a quick squash, and I suppose it gives Kendrick some momentum. We then go backstage and Jack Gallagher is being interviewed, and he says that he has some unfinished business with Chad Gable. Mike and Maria Kanellis then appear, and Mike tells them that he should be ashamed for losing to Gable. He then once again runs down Drake Maverick for being an absent GM. He calls Jack Gallagher dead weight, and then the pair agree to have a match next week. And then we go back to the ring for tonight's main event, which is Ariya Daivari versus Oney Lorcan. Lorcan showcases all of the aggression in the opening to this one, with Daivari trying desperately to run away over the crowd barrier a couple of times. Lorcan even attempts an early half and half, but Daivari manages to stop it and get himself on the front foot. He hits a flying divorce court off the second rope, and Lorcan's arm looks like it's been hyperextended on the landing. Daivari then just starts targeting that arm and wearing it right down. He whips Lorcan from turnbuckle to turnbuckle and then manages to lock in the $1 Million Dream to really give it a stretch. Lorcan fades during the hole with the referee doing the arm lift and drop, but he manages to fight himself back to his feet. Daivari, however, manages to keep control. Lorcan eventually does make a comeback. He hits a running blockbuster and a series of running uppercuts. He manages to hit the half and half despite his shoulder, and Daivari rolls to the outside. Lorcan, seeing this opportunity, goes for a massive dive, wipes out Daivari, and while he's hammering it up to the crowd, Daivari's grabbing a chair, nails Lorcan with it, and then he hands him the DQ win. Post-bell, Daivari's just beating Lorcan down. He throws him onto the announce table and lays in the punches while telling the crowd that they suck. He throws him into the ring steps. He drags him all the way up the ramp and nails him into the LED wall. And even then, he's not done. He finishes things off with a hammerlock lariat in the center of the stage. I'm gonna give this one a B. I wasn't a fan of the ending, but I see why they did it. It maintains the heat that was starting to fade for Daivari because he hasn't really been that menacing despite the fact he's supposed to be, the big bad. And it makes people sympathetic to Lorcan and his desire to win the title. The match itself was pretty straightforward but good, and maybe we'll see a storyline injury for a couple of weeks on Lorcan after that salt, but I think at most we're going to see a very aggressive rubber match. And then after this match we hear from all three competitors scheduled for the three-way at Stomping Grounds, and they all say that they're gonna win. How about that? Overall, I'm gonna give this week's episode of 205 Live a C+. It just felt like nothing really happened. It was one of those weeks where stuff just happens to get us another week along. Like, there wasn't really any major developments. I am enjoying, however, this storyline that they've been planting gently for the last few weeks, with Maverick being absent, Maverick being too obsessed with the 24/7 title to show up and actually do his job. He wasn't even there this week. Mike Kanellis referenced that. He's like, he's not even here. I like the idea that Drake Maverick could be fired and removed as the head of 205 Live, and I wonder who could replace him. And as I said, we've at least got another Daivari Lorcan match to look forward to, and probably another Singh's Lucha House Party match, please God no. But that was 205 Live, let's move on to NXT. So NXT this week kicks off with a promo from the Undisputed Era. I'm going to refer to my notes throughout this one because a lot happened. Adam Cole basically comes out and he says, "I told you so." He said he promised us that 2019 was going to be the Undisputed Era's year, and this title on his shoulder is proof. He says they're all going to be draped in gold, and if anybody gets in their way, they're going to regret it. They're going to remake NXT in an undisputed image. He then shows us the new intro to NXT after all of that happens, and it's all just shots of the Undisputed Era just wrestling and having fun and doing the "we are not your kind" thing from the intro. It's great. It's really, really well done. Kyle O'Reilly then takes credit for the edit, and he was like, "It was no big deal, I just put it together last night." And then Cole says that we run the place and nobody can do anything to stop us, not even Triple H, and the crowd are all like, "Ooh." And then out comes Velveteen Dream, and his opening words are, "Nobody can touch you, I'd like to touch you," and it's just really, really funny. Dream says that he wants Adam Cole's NXT Championship, and he wants it alongside his North American title. Roddy Strong then starts running Dream down, and he's cut off by Matt Riddle's music. Cole is about to tell Riddle that he knows nothing about wrestling before Riddle cuts him off and goes, "I know, I'm good looking and a stallion," and the crowd are just sort of confused but laughing. And then we get the line of the night. Cole turns to Riddle and he says, "Go back to writing online reviews for wrestlers from the Attitude Era," and the crowd go wild. They even start chanting Goldberg. And then while they're arguing, they're cut off by Tyler Breeze, who runs them all down. He built NXT long before any of those guys were on the scene, and he's spoken to Regal. He says that the main event tonight is going to be Dream, Breeze, and Riddle versus any three of the Undisputed Era. I have absolutely no option but to give this opening promo an A+. It was brilliant, it was funny, it was serious, it was full of twists and turns, it was everything that a solid in-ring promo should be. It was beautiful, and Kyle O'Reilly, if you'd ever like a job, just let us know. You can work remotely, your editing on that was absolutely fantastic. Just drop me an email, mate. We then get the first match of the night, which is Raul Mendoza versus Damian Priest, Punishment Martinez, but we can't call him that anymore. So Bell goes Priest straight in with a massive big boot when Mendoza comes running at him, and then he just starts throwing him about like a bear. That's not to say that Mendoza gets thoroughly dicked on, like he actually manages to get some good offense in, he looks strong, he's trying to use his speed to overcome Priest's size. And the spot of this match was definitely when Mendoza got up on the top turnbuckle, ran pretty much the full length of the top rope, just balancing, hit a massive dropkick that sent Priest sailing to the outside. But that proves to be his undoing. As he goes for a dive, Priest catches him, plants him spine first into the apron, and then, beats him. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to give this one a B. Both guys look great, but Mendoza in particular is just continuing to impress. But Priest, man, like his size, his demeanor, everything about him, the way he looks, the way he carries himself, his in-ring style, he just looks and feels like an Attitude Era star. There's just something about him. We then go backstage to a segment with William Regal sat in his office with one lone NXT tag title behind him for some reason, but he has an announcement. He says NXT's got everybody in it now, literally everybody. There's so much talent that it's going to be impossible to show them all off without something cool and massive like an 8-man tournament, so we're going to do an 8-man tournament. So it's called the Breakout Tournament, and it features Jordan Miles, who was formerly known as ACH, Boa, Cameron Grimes, who was formerly known as Trevor Lee, Isaiah Swerve Scott, who was formerly known as Shane Strickland, Dexter Loomis, who was formerly known as Sam Shaw, Bronson Reed, formerly known as Jonah Rock, and Angel Garza, Humberto Garza is what he used to be called, and finally Joaquin Wilde, who was formerly known as DJZ. So yeah, Breakout Tournament starts next week. Winner of the tournament gets to choose a belt they'd like to go and have a shot at. We then go back to the ring for the next match, which is Taynara Conti versus Xia Li. Both women go back and forth in the opening of this one, showcasing their martial arts abilities, and there's a really nice moment where Li judo throws Conti, only for Conti to get up, because obviously she's a black belt in judo, and she just sort of goes, like, that was a bit crap. But that proves to sort of be Conti's undoing as Li just rages out and starts taking it to her. Li does get caught by Conti into this horrible stretch with both of her arms like being wrenched backwards, but Li makes her way out of it. She hits a series of horrible looking kicks and picks up the 3. I'm going to give this one a C+. It was a little bit of a random matchup, what with them being former tag partners, but I understand the necessity in them facing each other, and it helps push them a little bit further up as singles competitors, because right now they're probably at the bottom of the women's division in NXT and they need to be getting toward the top, because there's going to be probably a lot of call-ups soon, and I'm quite worried that nobody's going to be sort of built up yet. And then we go back to the ring for tonight's main event, which is the Undisputed Era, represented by Strong, Cole and Fish versus Riddle, Breeze and Dream. This match is a bit of a wild one, so forgive me if I miss anything. I've tried to take note of as many cool things that happened as possible, because, you know, I like to give a little bit more detail in terms of like spot by spot stuff, but I couldn't just list everything that happened because it just goes wild. So Riddle and Cole start proceedings, with Riddle quickly getting driven into the Era's corner. Things progress, then we've got Dream and Roddy going at each other, and it's all quite rotational. The faces are actually working quite well here, despite not really being on even footing. There's a moment early on where Dream hits quite a scary Caprana onto Fish, and it looks like his knee connects with Fish's eye. It was just like, ugh. And then later on as the match goes on, you see Fish's eye starting to swell like he's got a black eye coming in, but he seemed okay. He didn't seem hurt. He didn't seem too badly injured or anything. There was no blood, so hopefully he's all right. Breeze then gets a go on Cole, and then the faces start tagging regularly, with Riddle getting in and just manhandling Cole, throwing him all about. And this is where everything breaks down, so I'm going to refer to my notes. So the Era storm the ring and are dumped to the outside. Dream hits a dive, Tyler takes it to Fish, and while Riddle starts really taking it to Cole, O'Reilly distracts the ref, allowing Fish to lay Riddle out. Later on, Cole manages to overcome Riddle, dragging him to the Era's corner, where they work him over nicely as Breeze desperately tries for the tag. Eventually, Fish gets in and starts stretching Riddle with body scissors and laying in those strikes to the ribs. Cole then tags in and he takes out Dream, who stood on the apron, dropping him to the floor outside, and then Breeze gets in with a hot tag, Fish gets in with a hot tag, and the crowd go mental. Breeze has Fish dead to rights. He's got him pinned, and just before the 3, Roddy pulls Fish out the ring by his feet. So Breeze is understandably annoyed, but he shrugs. You know, they're checking each other's okay on the outside, so he's gonna hit a dive. He hits the ropes, and then Dream tags himself in. This causes a minor argument between the two. Cole nails Riddle on the outside, Breeze gets dropped by Roddy, and Dream eats an end of heartache and gets pinned by Roddy for the 3. I'm going to give this one an A. It was a wonderful match with a great deal of storytelling and a high level of in-ring quality. I absolutely love the fact that Dream's ego cost the team, because they were working too well together for 3 guys that have never tagged as a unit. The Era still look like contemptible asses, Breeze looks like a ring general, the Dream looks like he's crumbling. It's going to be an interesting few weeks. In terms of an overall grade this week, I'm going to give NXT an A-. I think it had a bit of everything. Great promos, great matches, great storytelling, there was no dead weight, the entire thing felt lean and muscular. We of course have the Breakout Tournament to look forward to, there were some advancements in the lower women's division, and we have ructions in the face camp. So yeah, strong episode. What did you think? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments below. You can follow Cultaholic on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you like what we do here at Cultaholic, you can check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/Cultaholic. And no matter what you do, don't ever forget to hit subscribe and join us.